Dosha Life TV, baby. So let's talk about DNA awakening. Because your DNA is the ancestors in your being. Let me tell you what your DNA is. Your DNA is basically the creator's word within you. That's literally what it means. It's what it actually means. When you break down the dio, I don't know how to say that shit. I'd rather sound intelligent. I know I do, but still. Either way it goes, that DNA, you know what I'm saying, it's the God's word in you, basically, in a nutshell. And all the strands in DNA, in your DNA, are a different ancestor that's in your lineage. Your your mama could pass, she's still in your DNA. Your mama could still be here when she alive. She's still in your DNA. That's your mother within you. That's your thought. Every thought that you think that comes from your soul, from within your being, is one of those ancestors that's in your DNA that's tied to the Creator. Sometimes whole deities speak. Every thought that you think is an ancestor. You know how many ancestors you got? You know how far back your bloodline goes? This is how you being reincarnated. You can time travel through your DNA. This is how you really reincarnated. Let's say all those different ancestral DNAs that's activated during your timeline. Let's say that you have a child, that your child has a child, and them DNA go dormant because it's no longer that frequency on this planet. So let's say thousands of years go by, then out of nowhere, the DNA that was dominant in you during one time, those same type of strains are in the same alignment, in the same sense, to where you are manifested again by way of the energy of that DNA. And while you exist in that darkness and that soul realm energy. So then you've been reincarnated. Your thoughts is in those DNA. Your thoughts are ancestors. When a man has sex and he ejaculates, he's nutting his thoughts. His thought process, the spirit of that becomes the soul seat for the next individual. With that one sperm cell that contains that DNA, which is the sequence of those ancestors, in combination with that woman, who's going to be the emotional energy that's going to match up and align, because the energy transfers not just through, it transfers more than through atoms. It's through spirit. It's through energy. Electricity can be in the air. Think about this. So it's that deep. Your DNA runs that thousands, if not millions. You've reincarnated, if not thousands, if not millions. So in between that, there's a lot of incarnations. So think about that. That is millions of lifetimes. You never die. What is death? Transformation. You just don't die. Your flesh doesn't even die when it's dead. It goes back to the earth in the form of life. The atoms don't die. You can't kill an atom. An atom holds life and energy. Every atom is tied to a spirit. The spirit don't die. That composition of energy will go into the dirt and then be by a tree. The tree sucks it up. Now that's the energies in that tree. Someone eat that energy from the tree and now it's in you again. Or the next person. So you've been eating from the circle of life. You boo-boo. It go back to that again and again. Atoms don't die. You don't die. You the soul that holds these atoms, that gives these atoms life to begin with. That soul energy which exists in everyone is the creator. The composition and matter for each individual is this creator's experience through each and every one of you. And everything is alive. You got to think about this. 444. Man, look. Symbology. It's in everything. Especially your DNA. Your DNA is the symbology of your ancestry. Your ancestry, your energy is the symbology. Like this the thing. All these constellations also align with your DNA energy. Your sign is simply the symbology for the energy. Aries around the energy of around timid but quick to angry if bothered too much. That's what a ram does. That's the energy of Aries. It's simple. But if your DNA has a type of lineage, most of your DNA, you might incarnate in a line with that star system. It would shoot out that energy during that time. You're a house on the moon, and by way of your DNA, you know what I'm saying, it aligns the DNA of the child being birthed in the womb. And the next thing you know, the energy shifts through matter. Because matter is just illusion. The spirit is how it travels and it's instant. And it's just downloading like a signal. Because the moon is like a satellite. You know, said it stores and traps actually soul energies that's downloading into this physical plane through the portal of a woman's womb. Based off the man's intelligence, his thought forms, his DNA of his lineage, and hers. And it creates a sequence that could align with somebody who's passed a long time ago. A family line can have a certain sequence that matches another family line. These energies can be tied to a certain star system that's aligned with your DNA. Your DNA, it's deep. When you eat food, they got mRNA and DNA altering stuff in it. It plays with your DNA. It's warring with your ancestors in your being. Therefore, it causes your flesh to mess up because according to the morphogenic field of your DNA, it's how your atoms form in a vessel. That's how all your lung cells can still be lung cells, but still have individual functions within the lung. The DNA of it's going to make it a lung cell, but how does it operate? It communicates with the DNA. Now they fuck with the DNA. They mess with the DNA, then guess what? They mess with you. Guess what some of these shots do? I'm not gonna speak on it because they'll demonetize me. But yeah. So y'all need to pay attention to these things. You want to be able to think clearly. You eating animals with microorganisms that alter your DNA as well or hinder your DNA from awakening. Now you can't even hear as much as your ancestral thoughts, and you hear only the thoughts of the things that you feed yourself. Therefore, you hire for what you feed instead of hire for your soul energy, which is going to feed you knowledge and intelligence and perception and good thoughts through your DNA. You wonder why that quiet voice is so quiet? It's because you flooding it out with the spirits of all these other things that's not even your true nature. Because you're the nature of that soul being. You're not the nature of this physical plane. That physical plane is the nature of the energy that we put out. So don't try to become what you already made. Become what you already are. You are your ancestors. You are your ancestors. When you call upon them and praying, you connected to the ancestral lineage within your DNA. This lineage helps you connect to certain spiritual powers that's aligned with you. It don't matter what religion, every deity in voodoo is connected to the angels in heaven in the Bible. That's the same deities, just different translations. Don't God have angels that work on him? Ain't there an angel of light? Ain't there an angel of darkness? Ain't there something of electricity? We just know how to communicate with these things. I'm tired of people beefing over what's right and wrong. Woo, 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 woo. The English language is the curse. Your ancestors help you know truth. A lot of people hopping in this life, you know what I'm saying, with altars and stuff and doing this spells on stuff, but not realize they're not listening to their own ancestors when they do this stuff. And that's why there's consequences. They don't listen to their ancestors, which is their actual true thoughts, their true self. When you water fast and flood yourself from all these outside energies that's not you, and you can only hear the thoughts of your creator, it's the He's going to speak through your ancestral lineage, through you, your ancestors. You become them. You become the one. The Son, the Creator, will awaken dormant DNA, therefore awakening the ancient ancestors that came with the ancient knowledge from the ancient times within your being, allowing you to perceive things how the ancients did. What you think is happening now? 2021 DNA is awakening. Look, then I'm a turn now. Look, we awakening. Man, that's what's going on right now, man. Ancient ancestors are awakening within our DNA. Why you think everybody in this world is waking up? It's not a trend for no reason. It's a trend because people seeing everybody's waking up at one point in time and they saying they're not caring what these ego stuff going, and now that's becoming the trend because they want to be like what's happening. And guess what? Even them pretending to be that, the lifestyle is going to come to them because they're living in that frequency of energy to a certain extent to where they have no choice but to wake up. Even if life slaps them the hard way for living it the wrong way, by now I'm saying disrespecting their ancestors now that they crossing into their life. You know what I'm saying? That's just how it is. Listen to your ancestors, that's your DNA. You know what I'm saying? It's really that deep. You know what I'm saying? It's that deep. Like, man, we're waking up. It's done with. That. Do not let them tamper with you with the shots. Them shots is what's messing people up. Those drugs is messing people up. If it's not things that's from nature that corrects your DNA, it's something that's to alter your DNA. All these man-made drugs, all this man-made food, all this fake-ass food that they putting these chemicals that alter your DNA in. I mean, y'all gotta think, man. They altering DNA by putting chemicals that war with your ancestral lineage within you. These chemicals have spirits bound to them. These spirits war with the spirits of your ancestors. They're fighting for you. Dang it. You gotta really think. Everything has a spirit. Everything is alive. Everything. You gotta wake up. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, you are your ancestors. You are your DNA. Your DNA is awakening. If you have melanin, if you're a melanin being, not just a being that contains it, but a melanin being, your DNA is so active right now. And you're the target. Learn how to wake them ancestors up. They'll teach you how to protect yourself. By becoming high in vibration and elevating out of the bullshit that will keep you trapped. I'm just saying things to make you speak. I mean, make you think. Wake up, people. Dosha Lyfe TV. Like, subscribe, hit the cash out. I just want y'all to wake up. I say that to make you think, universal minds. It's all love. You know, donations welcome. Yeah, peace, family.